Next up on the agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes for February 29th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting as of February 29th, 2024.
I'll second.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor to approve the meeting minutes of February 29th, 2024. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Next up is approval of claims and payroll.
Claims and payroll all in order.
I make a motion to approve claims and payrolls presented by the Clark County Auditor.
I will second.
Motion and a second on the floor to approve claims and payroll as presented by the Clark County Auditor. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 3-0. Next up is the approval of the agenda. Are there any amendments? And if there are none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor to approve the agenda as presented. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Next up, we're moving on to public comment. Public comment is by sign-up sheet. We allow everybody 3 minutes to come up and voice your concerns over anything going on in the county. We ask that you please state your name and address for the record. Mr. Max Zimmerman, the floor is yours, sir.
How y'all doing? My name is Max Zimmerman, 6616 Stone Mill Road. What I'm here about today is tell you a story, the reason the Zimmerman family likes solar farms. You know, about 4 years ago, I started getting postcards in the mail. You want to lease your land in solar farm? I've been retracting. I thought it was fun with Southern Indiana. I went to school at Purdue. I seen the windmills. I understand all that. But finally, somebody knocked on my door one day and said, "Hey, I need to talk to you about solar farm." I said, "Okay," so I'll listen. And you know, he had a pretty good story. Then other people kept on knocking on the door. So finally, I started digging into it deeper and got with my friends from Purdue that I went to school with up there. And you know, it comes back, and I talked to my father about this. I mean, the ground that we signed up with this particular company has been in our family for 120 years. I went to school for ag econ. I farmed for a living when I came out of school. It wasn't for me because there was so many things I couldn't control. Then I got the restaurant business and done other things. So on the solar farm, I started doing my due diligence. They gave me a lease. I worked with my attorney on that lease, pretty much basically rewrote that lease. And then went back to them and we agreed to terms. So probably in July of 21, I signed my first lease with Bright Lane Energy. And during this whole time, my father, grew up on that farm and farmed all his life, I conveyed with him what was going on, and he told me one thing to do is take care of the land. And since then, my father's passed away January 20th, so I am the person that has to take care of that land for the next generation. And I'm here to do it. If you come look at our farm, we're very protective of our dirt. We would not do anything to harm our dirt or for my dirt, for my kids, my grandkids, and next grandkids. So like where we sign this lease up at is where I live. So I get a call from only during this whole time I got one call from one neighbor. She said, "Max, are you moving?" I said, "No, why would I be moving?" She said, "Well, solar panels are coming in." I said, "They're fine. You know, it's not that big a deal." You know, when we first got started, we heard all this stuff. Since then, all that crazy stuff that has died down, and they want some more restrictions, and you know, we can talk about that. But you know, really, solar farming is it's the next new thing. I mean, when my grandparents started farming this ground, they were using horses and plows, and when they went to a gasoline tractor, they went to a diesel tractor. Now, you know, equipment was 2-row planter, 4-row planter. Now they're planting a 24-row planter. And the people that are signed up for this project, owning farmland is great. You got a big asset there. Well, only way you ever cash in on it, you sell it. I don't want to sell it, because I want to keep it there. That's my time.
All right.
Thank y'all very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Zimmerman. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next up, Mr. Greg Hostetler. And again, if you don't mind, just state your name and address for the record, sir and ma'am.
Katie Hostetler, 9203 West Fort Road, Marysville.
And Greg, 9202 West Fort Road, Marysville. Commissioners, counselor, other elected officials, appreciate your time this evening, your thoughts on the support of the Flag Run solar project in North Clark. The decision for us to sign the land lease was not done lightly, for our family land. There was much time and effort spent reviewing and negotiating this lease with Bright Knight. And I think it's been great to see county officials, have the wherewithal and forethought, you all, to understand the presence of solar power and create a UDO ordinance. It's very apparent that the economic development of Clark County and those businesses that want to come to here and going to acquire Clark County for those businesses, practices that are friendly to solar. And noting the recent announcements of the new solar panel manufacturing, as well as the Meta high-tech farm, are all solar friendly. After all, Clark County already has a solar project in the county, near Underwood and owned by Hoosier Energy. It's also apparent that amending the UDO ordinance seems it took a heavy influence from the Indiana State solar standards and Purdue Extension solar land use recommendations. For the new UDO, I would ask that the commissioners accept a very practical, logical set of UDO ordinance guidelines that are within these state limits. We should make the use of solar acceptable so that we can have a clean energy source of power. We should not be so inclined to make the UDO ordinances, the guidelines, so restrictive and prohibitive to do business that we would not be able to develop the attached new businesses for our county here in the Ridge and other places. There are many economic benefits generated by the project for the townships, the municipalities, and the county to relieve our budget issues and provide funding for these community needs. There is zero cost to our citizens, and there is zero maintenance and operating expenses cost to any Clark County associated with this project. I know that you commissioners and many of the other Clark voters and boards are champion to landowner rights. I ask for your support of the Flag Run Solar Project, and that we can find a balanced approach to meet the needs of all parties concerned with this ordinance. Thank you for your time this evening. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, appreciate it.
Is that like?
You have to make sure that it's
Down.
it's down.
Make sure it functions.
Is the light on?
Next up is Mr. Eric Vaughn. And again, if you could be so kind to state your name and address for the record and your time, we'll start right after that, Mr. Vaughn.
Understood. Eric Vaughn, 8513 Balmer Drive, Charlestown, Indiana. I don't really have a lot to say, but I think I want to acknowledge that you all have a lot, a big decision in front of you, and it's not an easy thing that you're going to have to wade through. But what I would support is I do think it makes sense that we give consideration to what the state ordinances have considered in terms of what is meaningful and in terms of just you know what I'm saying. But I just want to acknowledge my support for the already established, the state mandated, not mandated, but recommended stage rate. But additionally, one thing I'm given to understand in terms of a criticism of the project is, a consideration of the loss of future development. And one thing I would offer in opposition to that is the fact that, we're not getting any offers for development. If that makes sense. We have, as a landowner, we have an opportunity to develop this property, for solar, but there's, people trying to stop us from developing it for solar, that they want to develop it for other reasons. And, if they would make offers, like, we would be absolutely willing to listen to them, but there's nobody else making offers. So, I guess in summary, I would say in lieu of somebody else making, a better offer to us, I think the ideal situation is for us to just take the already recommended state standards for the solar project. And that's really all I have to say, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up is Ms. Kelly Curry.
Ellie Curry, 4819 Salem Noble Road, Jeffersonville, Indiana. 3 minutes start now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I wanted to give you all an update on my appointment to the Township Board, the Fire Protection Board. It's been very difficult to get any knowledge about what's going on. I've contacted State Board of Accounts, ISP, Darren Wilder, as you suggested. Darren Wilder is not under contract, nor has he been compensated for anything that he's done, and that's just been a few emails. I think 3 sent here about Mr. Ballinger's resignation. And then he fielded a couple from Wave 3 News about it. I expect to hear from the ISP tomorrow. Trying to get the records. Danny helped me with finding out the establishment year was 1998. But I did want you all to know that I am attempting to see the records and see what's going on. I know we cannot do anything about what's happened in the past, but we can do something moving forward. The 2 other trustees, one is in Florida until the end of April. They were to have had a meeting in January, they did not. They're supposed to have one in April. Now, whether Mr. McDonald will make it back in time for the April meeting, I don't know. Talked to the public access counselor about that stuff today, and maybe you all can call a meeting earlier or later. If we cannot get in April to meet, I'm talking the trustees only as an executive session. If for some reason we can't, we may have to have you all call a meeting according to statute 36811. 13B, I think is what it is. I'm not sure. But anyway, I am a little concerned about not being able to access the records right now. I'm going to attempt to do that tomorrow with the ISP, because I want to know where we're at. I've checked Gateway and the State Board of Accounts. I had conferred with them. Mr. Castleberry has said that he probably thinks he should not have been appointed to this because he doesn't know what's going on. Okay, you might want to consider your appointments. If the one trustee is not in town, and this I think is an annual thing for Mr. McDonald, to hold the January and the April meeting, then I think we may need to reconsider the other appointees. I've got someone that is willing to do it that lives in the town of Utica. But I am concerned about the lack of information and the lack of meeting that they've had. So that's where I'm at. I will call one of you all, or let you know what I hear about those records, but I must be able to obtain those records. They were supposed to be somewhere. And that somewhere was supposed to have been designated in the agreement in the ordinance in 1998. That meeting place was supposed to have been designated, it was not. But they've been meeting at the 5840 Utica Pike or whatever, the fire department. I'm loath to go in there. Those records are supposed to be available for public viewing. So anyway, I just want to let y'all know, I'm doing the best I can, and I will try to update you as I get
Okay.
more information.
Please make sure you reach out to one or all of us and let us know.
I will.
Okay, all right.
I
Thank
will.
you.
I was gonna say something, but no, never mind.
And that is all for public comment. We will move on to new business. First up on the agenda is the resolution authorizing bonds to be issued by River Ridge Development Authority.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
Bo Zeller with Frost Brown Todd, 1815 Augusta Boulevard in Henryville. I'm here on behalf of River Ridge Development Authority to issue bond anticipation notes and actual bonds for the purpose of a lot of infrastructure improvements in River Ridge. Things that are, for clarity here, River Ridge has its own revenues that are derived from tax increment and other sources inside of River Ridge. So these bonds will not be secured by any property tax dollars. There will not be any debt levy associated with these bonds or any other obligations. The county is not an obligated party. The county is not a guarantor. The county just has to approve this pursuant to statute and also to allow these bonds to be tax exempt for River Ridge. So the project that these will be used to fund will include a lot of road improvements, utility improvements, lighting, sidewalks, extensions of certain roadways, demolition of existing structures from the old Army ammunition plant, remediation related to that, some relocation as well. There will be a lot of funds spent on Jim Lewis roadway, phases 1 and 2, some intersection improvements with Jim Lewis and State Road 62, and a lot of infrastructure improvements related to the, the recent announcements that are right around us. So a lot of projects. River Ridge is has had a lot of success, and that's what the need for the improvements are. There's been a lot of demand for companies seeking information and looking to locate business here. These bonds, the bands would be in the amount of 25 million. The bonds would be in the amount not to exceed 30 million, again, payable solely from River Ridge revenues and nothing else in the county. Are there any questions? I believe you all have seen River Ridge's issued bonds in the past. You're familiar.
Yeah. You listed several things there, the improvements were going to be what the bond would be attributed to.
Yep.
Anything else, I guess it might be a question for Jerry or that.
Yep.
Is there any other infrastructure things that are included in on that bond? Anything like sewer infrastructure?
Yeah, I can give you the.
No, we've got a list of
Yep.
Okay.
Allow me. If you look out the window, you see some 20-inch water line.
This is really
Okay.
So we're having to put the 20-inch water line down to the new well field, which the state of Indiana is putting in for added capacity and redundancy to serve the whole park. Currently, so currently, when the initial wells were put in, now 10 years ago or more, there's a 16-inch main water line that goes up Paul Garrett Avenue from Longview Beach where the well field is.
Yeah.
And that's the only, main line we have connected into the system. So the whole system operates off that 16. With this new capacity coming online, we'll have another 3 million gallons per day. So we're putting in 20-inch. The redundancy will be can be completely separated from the feed going into the 16-inch and the 20-inch. So we'll have tremendous additional capacity, which is much needed for these new projects that were just announced recently. And then on the other side of the coin, we have major sewer improvements that we have to make in Charlestown, the area of the Commerce Center. We're still just getting started on putting in a new collector system. So we have to put in multiple force mains, lift stations, and the entire collector system on site. So we build the entire sewer system and then deliver it to the Charlestown wastewater treatment plant for treatment. And we're really, we
under construction on the north end. And we have plans to extend, the Miami Trail, which is main entrance coming in to River Ridge on the north end. And we still have tremendous demolition and clearing to do of the old buildings and structures on the north end. So we probably still have another $1 million and $1.5 million after this bond issue to get the entire infrastructure, system built out for all of River Ridge.
Okay. Thank you.
Is this in addition to the previous bonds that we've passed? This is not a refinance and rolling into another bond, this is a totally separate bond?
New money.
That's what I thought, okay.
And we use, Stifel, as our financial, advisors on this, and they, are very particular about, our, debt ratio and being sure that we're not overextended, and that we can afford to do this. And our board is very, conscious of that as well.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Any more questions?
It's a resolution.
This is resolution number 01-2024.
So I make a motion that we pass resolution, number 1-2024, resolution of the Board of Clark County Commissioners acknowledging bonds and notes to be issued by the River Ridge Development Authority and authorizing the Board of Clark County Commissioners to execute bonds and notes and take other actions in furtherance thereof.
I'll second.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor to approve resolution number 1-2024, which is a resolution of the Board of Clark County Commissioners acknowledging bonds and notes to be issued by the River Ridge Development Authority and authorizing the Board of Clark County Commissioners to execute bonds and notes and take other actions in furtherance thereof. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you all.
very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next up is the tractor and mower bid award for the highway department, and I think we talked about tabling that to get some more clarity on that, so I would entertain a motion to table that.
So moved.
I'll second.
So there's a motion and a second to table the tractor and mower bid award for the highway department. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor to table say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Next up is a letter of support for IDOC Community Corrections and Justice Reinvestment Grant. Mr. Hayden, floor is yours, sir.
I am Jamie Hayden. I'm the Chief of Clark County Probation, also the Executive Director of the Clark County Community Corrections Program. I am here to seek the letter of support, as we have in the last few years, for these grants. I believe that all of the pertinent information was emailed to Commissioner's Attorney Scott Lewis, and that is it.
And the total amount of this grant is the $1,026,000?
Yes, this is the Department of Corrections
Yes.
portion of the grant.
Just to clarify, no matching funds from the county. Yes, it's 100% funded through the grant.
And really, this is just an approval, I guess, or this is just to allow us to sign a letter of support.
They put it in their application package.
Correct.
And there's requirements about what items they have to put in their application package, but I think you've all been awarded it every
Yeah.
year since
Yes, we
like
have.
3 or 4 years. Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the letter of support from the Indiana Department of Corrections in the amount of $1,026,258.
I'll second.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor to approve a letter of recommendation for the Indiana Department of Corrections, Community Corrections and Justice Reinvestment Grant in the amount of $1,026,258, and I'll add the caveat that it's asking me to sign.
Yes.
So, any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Next up is the Cybertech Annual Packet Viper Subscription Renewal for the Government Center Building.
Yes, as you know, every year for both buildings, the Judicial Center and Government Center, they're separate, what they call the Packet Viper software and equipment that helps put up firewalls and so forth to provide cybersecurity for our system. So this is the annual renewal for the County Government Center.
The Government Center.
And the annual cost $9,350.
So I make a motion to approve the CyberTech annual Packet Viper subscription renewal for the Government Center building in the amount of $9,350.
I will second.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor to approve the CyberTech annual Packet Viper subscription renewal for the Clark County Government Center building in the amount of $9,350. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Next up is the Clark County RMC Utility Relocation and Reimbursement Agreement.
Yeah, so this was presented, or given to me to review from our county engineer, Mr. Dixon. So this is for the Charlestown Pike Phase 3 project. There's the utilities with these type of projects that will have to be relocated. And when we're requiring the relocation of utilities outside our right of way, we have to reimburse for that cost. So RMC has sent over the standard NDOT approved form for a relocation reimbursement agreement. The total cost is $280,847.96. That would be reimbursed to RMC for this utility relocation. I don't know if the county insurance is going to add on that.
And this is from Salem Noble to 62. The only question I have, Brian, is do we know when they plan on starting this? Because I know they're out there.
They are going to, they said they need 60 days to order the materials.
Okay.
And then they take 60 to 90 days to complete the work. So you're looking at anywhere from 120 to 150 days to complete the work.
Just to complete it, okay.
It looks like August, well, they'll be done, which is about the time we want to get started on the roadway work.
Okay.
That is what they have agreed in their contract, that they would have that much done in that period of time.
Okay, fair enough, thank you.
I make a motion then to approve the relocation and reimbursement agreement, and on this date, March 14th, 2024, between Clark County Highway Department and the Clark County Rural Electric Membership Corporation in the amount of $280,847.96.
I'll second.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor to approve the Clark County RMC Utility Relocation and Reimbursement Agreement in the amount of $280,847.96. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Next up is the CIMA natural gas price quote for the Judicial Center building.
Yes, as you know, the Judicial Center building, they use natural gas to supply the boilers in that building. So every year, we enter into agreements with SEMA, that's the provider of the natural gas, and to lock into a new quote for the upcoming year that would begin April 1st of 2024 through the end of March 2025. They use this base load price, 0.25. So our building operations superintendent, Marion Shepard, said that's actually lower. I think the current one is over 0.3. So actually this is a reduction for the upcoming year of the current, what they call base load price that we're paying. So it would be a 1 year, we're locked into this lower 0.25 for a total, what they call unit volume of 18,273. You see how much is delivered per month from April 2024 through March 2025. So the good news is for the upcoming years will be a decrease in the cost for the natural gas for the boilers.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the SEMA natural gas quote in the amount of $18,273.
No, that's the volume. That's the volume. So the key is if they call it the base load price. Is
Okay,
we're
for the base
locking
load
into
price.
0.25. We're locking into the 0.25 base
Okay.
load price.
All right, to lock into the base load price of 0.25 for the year April 24 through March of 25.
I'll second.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor to approve the SEMA natural gas price quote for the Judicial Center building with a base load price of 0.25 for a year starting April 24 through March of 25 for a total volume, I guess that's probably an estimated volume of 18,273. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 3-0. That's all of our new business. Moving on to old business. I don't see any old business. Does anybody have any?
No.
Moving on to reports from department heads and elected officials. Mr. Auditor, anything tonight?
I have nothing for tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney?
Nothing for tonight.
All right. Highway Department?
I have nothing.
Thank you, sir. Sheriff's Department?
Inmate count, total of 423 with 52 being federal inmates.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any other elected officials or department heads? Marion, anything?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other business? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0 to adjourn. Thank you all very much. We are adjourned.